Hi guys, my name is Jewel, and you will not believe the shock, awe, disbelief, and love I had on my face when I went into my local thrift store, fabric store, craft store, a whole bunch of things in one, and I saw multiple tables of full leather skins for $9.99 each. Usually I'm paying like $9.99 to $12.99 to $10.99 per square foot of a leather skin. They had the full leather skin for $9.99 each. With that said, I did buy some. So we're just gonna make some shoes. I don't have much of a reason. I just got some leather. So let's go. Alrighty, so we started out by taping out our last, and I used painter's tape this time. Loved it, definitely recommend, but we had a problem. We didn't have any inspo or know what we were gonna make. So I found these two tops that I loved the beads and the ruffles on, and thought that was really cute on a top, but then later found these Chloe shoes that kind of had that same vibe and realized this is what we were going for. This is our North Star. So once I started designing, I first started with just doing a regular mule for the style lines that I would then cut up and release to make those ruffles that would go between the beads. So I used an X-Acto knife, cut out the basic mule, and look at this so satisfying tape peel. Oh, I love it. And this is how she was looking. After I fully removed the tape pattern pieces, I put that onto paper, slashed up where I wanted the extra gathers to be, and then added 1.5 inches of seam allowance at the bottom and around 1/4 inch at the top that I would use for sewing and lasting. And this is how it was looking on paper. And now it's time to get into this beautiful butter yellow $9.99 leather that I got from the store. So I started out by tracing out my pattern and flipping it to make sure I got the right and the left side for both shoes, and then cutting that out until all of them were done and placed. I then again went in and marked my 1.5 inch seam allowance at the bottom, just so I had it as a visual reference when I was lasting, and then clipped that top line and sewed it down at that 1/4 inch allowance as I mentioned. So then I'm going in and clipping that seam allowance and then clipping one side of the seam allowance shorter than the other. And this whole bit that I'm doing here of doing the gluing, clipping, and folding is simply to make this seam pristine. If you don't do this, the seam is going to be really bulky, especially since it's leather, and you don't want that. You want a beautiful seam. So you have to do it for both. So it is more work, but it's absolutely worth it for a beautiful top seam. So then I glued it down on both sides and smushed those two together. And as you can see, that pristine seam, oh, that sounds like a tongue twister, is coming together. And now it is time for the fun part. So I used my paper pattern as a template to mark all the holes of where my eyelets would be going. I used a hollow leather hole punch for this, but you can also use a handheld push punch. And if you guys remember my bag making video, these are the same grommets that I used from last time. Even though I used a gazillion of them, they still holding strong. And if you can see, it's coming together. So now it's time to start working on the insoles. I used my standard insole pattern that I just traced off the bottom of my last. I use this one every single time unless I've modified my last and need to use another one. So I traced this off using bag stiffener instead of textile board. Again, you should use it if you don't have one, but you have the other. And then traced it off again on my cork sheet and added glue to both the cork sheet and the back of my insole. I did this twice, so I had 2 layers of cork, and then I added the foam on top, which I glued together in the same way. And my lasts were so comfortable. As you can see, there's a lot of cushion, and then they were covered in leather. So with that done, it was time to start lasting these bad boys. So I just used regular Scotch tape to tape down my insoles to my last, and then use my leather cement around the perimeter of the bottom side of my last, as well as on the inside of the lining of my uppers. And I waited 5 minutes between putting the glue on both sides and then pasting them together so the glue could set and it would stick to itself really, really well. I did the same thing, as you can see, for the outside upper that you'll see from the shoe, I guess the fashion fabric side. And I put little pleats down throughout the whole process so it'll be nice and smooth, because y'all, I do not like skiving. I don't like skiving, I got to tell you. But then we went in with doing randing. Now this is my first time doing randing, and I'm already on the market for some more randing because I absolutely loved it. Look at that, it looks so cool. Then I used a rubber sheet as my base for the shoe that would become the soles. I also got these from I Can Make Shoes. It was a full palette that I got for Christmas, and I absolutely loved it. I'm sad that I'm at the end of it, so I have to buy more. But, you know, it did what it did. I also used barge glue this time around. Absolutely love and absolutely recommend. So for the soles, I initially just cut away the excess with a regular pair of scissors and then went in with an X-Acto knife to get into all those curves and edges. And then I also recommend sanding that down. I ain't do that, but I think you should. It will make it look really, really clean. And finally, we're coming to the end. I made my little straps by gluing them together, sewing them down as you can see, and then weaved it through all of the grommets, adding my extra large wooden beads, and we were getting to the finish line. They look absolutely beautiful, and if you liked it, I urge you to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.
Hit you with no delaying, so what you saying, yo? Silly with my 9 milli with the dilly, yo. Hit you with no delaying, so what you saying, yo? Silly with my 9 milli with the dilly, yo. Hit you with no delaying, so what you saying, yo? Silly with my 9 milli with the dilly, yo. Hit you with no delaying, so what you saying, yo? Silly with my 9 milli with the dilly, yo.